Well, there are renewed calls for the Queensland Government to remove shark nets after a second whale in just 2 weeks was caught and then later freed from netting off the Gold Coast yesterday. Queensland is just one of 2 states to use the nets, but unlike New South Wales, they're not removed during winter when more than 40,000 humpback whales migrate through our waters. The RSPCA is urging Queensland to adopt an alternative to prevent whale entanglements during migration season. For their take, let's bring in commentator Cath Webber and broadcaster Justin Smith. Morning to you both.
Morning.
Cath, you're there in Queensland. What do you think? New South Wales gets rid of the nets during migration period in winter when less people are in the water. Should the same thing be happening there in Queensland?
Yeah, I think times have changed. I think we're at that point in time where we need to take them down during the especially winter, and then have a conversation about what happens in summer. I think, watching that footage yesterday was so distressing. And look, I get it. As a child who watched Jaws, I completely get the fear factor. If a piece of seaweed goes by you in the ocean, or there's this false sense of security that is netting that, somehow I won't get eaten by a shark. But I think we need to listen to the experts. And also going back to, we had this perception that netted beaches are safe, but they're actually patrol beaches. So I think they need to break down, is it the netting? And in this day and age, we have drones, we have aircraft, we have really fantastic shark surveillance. So how much of it is about the netting? And I think this could give us a really beneficial look into what actually happens when the nets are down. But it's always been about politics and tourism and perception rather than people and marine life. And I think now with environmental tourism being big, that stuff going viral yesterday is up there with the shark attack going viral.
Yeah, Justin, we know that the government has said that they'll put in more money to try and sort of save the whales, if you like, and to disentangle them from netting. But at what cost to the whales? And also, could we not redirect that money into looking for sharks, as Cath said?
Is that the same government who thought it was a good idea to have the nets out during winter and catch 5 or 6 of them in the nets every year? Because if it's that same government, I think we have a need to rethink about any advice they've got. We just do some awful things to animals, don't we? In this kind of rubbish biblical belief that the earth is here for human beings exclusively. And the Queensland has just got this incredibly wrong. Just incredibly right. To think that the first thing we need to do is make sure people can go for a swim safely, and put these kind of animals at risk is just it's just arrogant beyond belief.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah. And the hypocrisy of, hey, come and watch whale season in Queensland.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Beautiful
Love taking the money.
We'll take your money. But, meanwhile, we'll have the footage that we watched yesterday, which was horrible.
Yeah,
government should be ashamed of themselves.
Yeah, it was extraordinary work that those SeaWorld rescuers did to manage to disentanglement, and the cooperation of the whale. We're going to be talking about that throughout the morning. Let's move on for now, though. And a woman has taken to the internet to ask if going out to a cafe and getting coffee alone is strange, after she says that her husband looked at her when she said she was leaving the house to do it. It wasn't like she was out and I'll just grab a coffee. She said, I'm leaving the house on my own to get coffee. Cath, it sparked furious debate online, also in the office. Is going out solo weird?
No, it's not weird. I think it's weirder when you sit at a coffee shop and see 2 people who are having coffee together with their heads in their phones, not talking.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nothing like people watching. And this was on like a mum's blogging site where it's like, does he understand that she's also getting away from him and the kids? Like, it may not even be about coffee. Yeah, that's right. And is it okay that she goes and does the groceries solo and carries all the bags by herself? Far out. Imagine if she wanted to go for a beer to watch the whales at a surf club.
Yeah.
There'd be, mayhem.
Yeah. Justin, I'm going to assume here, not that I'm saying you don't have people to go out to coffee with.
Oh, here we go.
That you'd be okay with this. But what about dinner? Solo dinner, going to the movies. Where do you stand on that?
Oh, look, being
your
alone,
own best friend.
Being alone is one of the most underrated things in the world. It's magnificent being alone. And as an introvert, can I just say to the extroverts, we're fine.
Yeah,
we're fine. Leave us alone. We're okay. We don't need your help. We don't need your company. We don't need your advice. We're happy. We'll sip on our coffee. Yeah. Alone is magnificent.
You can be annoyed by yourself, right? rather than being annoyed by other people. What I want to know is why was she just not getting back into bed if she had the opportunity for time on her own? Okay, finally, social media
I think
also
you know the answer to that.
left amazed.
You know the answer to
because he was there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. Had been left amazed by one man's hack at slicing an avocado.
When you cut an avocado, you don't go down this way because that exposes a lot of surface area, tending to get brown a lot quicker. So what you do is you slice your avocado this way, and then as you use it, you just scoop it out, drop it on your toast, like so, and as you go down, it exposes a lot less of the surface area.
I cannot tell you how crazy this is going online. This works, can I say, because then you can seal it afterwards. Cath?
Who said social media doesn't bring education? I mean, come on, it's life-changing hacks like this that we need. I'm here for it. I got into the habit of doing this, and then I don't know why I've regressed going back down the half, where you've got the slippery seed, then you're trying to cut it out with the knife, then it falls everywhere, and then there's avocado everywhere. It's genius.
Yep, and you're setting to the pip, like with a machete. Like, why do we all have to do that? It's not that hard.
And the juggle.
Justin, what do you think when you're doing smashed avo at home on your lonesome?
It's a really good idea, and that's that great thing about, we praise the internet a lot and we punch it around a lot, but it bridges the gap between the rest of us with things to do and people with bugger all else to do, but sit there with a knife and an avocado and work out the best way to do it. So bless that, he's doing God's work, that guy, isn't he, really?
The other thing that I love about him is it's the boomer shot. Like, he has framed it where you just sort of get his gut rather than missing out the top bit.
Wow, what are you saying, Mom?
At least he's got the important
You're
bit.
out to insult everyone today, Mom,
Yeah,
aren't you?
I'm on fire, aren't I? Careful.
No one's going to get left alone
Get out
today.
of my way. Cath, Justin, great to see you both. Thank you.
You too.
And thank you for
Mom.
also
See you,
couples
Justin.
dressing today. We appreciate the tonal vibe.
We're here for it.
You like it?
You too. All right, here's Shervo.